Hi guys, it's Marina. Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we are talking about books in English. I'm not gonna lie, I am a bit nervous when I'm talking to the camera in English because I'm just not used to it. Let's just dive into it. Let's get to know the books that I've been reading from December 2022 to this day. Okay, so the first book, it's Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. You probably have already heard about Colleen Hoover before. She's a very famous author here in BookTube, BookTok. She's everywhere. She has pretty good books, but I am discovering some other books of her that I don't really enjoy that much. So yeah, you either love her or hate her. So Reminders of Him brings us the story about a girl called Kenna who has just left prison. I'm not going to explain why, obviously. You have to read the book to discover that. So she just left prison and she goes back to her hometown because she wants to visit her daughter. Because just when she entered to prison, I think she discovered she was pregnant or something along the lines. So what I mean is she has never met her daughter, who is now, I don't know if it was like 3 or 4 years old. So she really wants to bond with her. She wants to make up for all that lost time. The people who are taking care of her daughter do not really want Kenna to come close to her. I'm not going to say why again, because you have to discover the dark past that Kenna has. And then another character comes into play who is Ledger. This is a cute guy she meets in a bar, and this guy is going to bring some complicated things to the relationship because they obviously have a great connection together, but also at the same time Ledger has a very close relationship to her daughter. So it's very difficult because she cannot come close to her daughter and he's having feelings for her, and you will see how it develops. It's a really cute story, although I didn't quite connect with all the characters, so it was just a nice story for me. It's not bad. I just gave it like a 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, then we have one of my favorite books of these last few months, which is Malibu Rising by Jenkins Reid. This is also a very popular author in all social media. She's very popular. She writes great books, but what I love the most about her books is not that the story is so different or is something you've never heard before. The books are so good because the characters are very well built and they are really interesting to read about. It talks about the Riva family, which is a very successful and rich family in California, and it's all set in the 80s, this makes that the atmosphere is so cool and it's so well designed. I don't know what to say, it's so nice, yeah. Every year this family throws a really big party. Everyone who is someone has to be in the party. Everyone is waiting for the party every year. So it's a really big event, let's say that. And this year some things are going to happen in this party, so everything's going to change, and the book also goes from the past to the present, so we get to discover all the history of this Riva family, and it's so interesting to see like how the family was built, how the parents met each other, and how it has come to be what it is nowadays. Like I said, everything is set in the 80s, but when we go back, we can obviously go to the 60s, to the 70s, and I really love those decades. Yeah, the author really did a great job by creating the atmosphere of this book, and the descriptions are very accurate. The characters, as I said, are really nice to discover the stories and what they think and what they have to do and their choices they're making. So it is a very enjoyable read. However, I did not like the ending. It was not enough for me. I think it was not according to the story, but I will not say much more. I'm going to give this a 3.5 stars. Overall, it's a very enjoyable read, so if you're looking for something light for this summer, for example, please choose Malibu Rising, because the vibes are also very like surf vibes, and the beach and Malibu, obviously, like those are the vibes. It's really nice. Okay, then we have Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. This was actually a gift from my dear friend Hannah, and this book was sometimes difficult to read. I really like the writing style of Picoult because it's beautiful. It's just beautiful how she writes and how she tells the story. But it was sometimes difficult because it is set in the pandemic years and all the COVID crisis, so sometimes I couldn't help but go back to my own thoughts in that period of time, and I was not feeling at my best, obviously, as many people. So it brought back memories. Yeah, I had like mixed feelings, and also the story is quite slow, so I don't know. I gave this like I think a 3. Like most of these books have a 3 out of 5 because they were good, they were not bad, but they weren't exceptional, you know. And so it tells a story about this girl who has all her life figured out, or so she thinks. And so she has this amazing holiday planned in like South America, and then COVID happens. So her boyfriend, who is working in a hospital, obviously has to stay in New York, and she has to go to the holiday by herself because it is already paid. And then there she's going to have a lot of reflections about life and whatnot, as you can expect. So we have a lot of introspective thoughts, inner monologue, a lot of COVID reflections too, thoughts. So if you like this topic, it is quite good. And now we go to my favorite book of these past few months, which is Carrie Soto is back. I love Carrie Soto. I'm a big fan. I wish she existed, because if she did, I don't know, I would go to her matches, and I don't even like tennis. So this is a book about Carrie Soto, who is, I don't know if she's like 30 something or 40-year-old woman, and her tennis career finished years ago, you know, because it was her time to go. And now she wants to go back to the court. She wants to win all the big titles in tennis, and she is very, very, very competitive. So this character is amazing because she is not designed to be liked by the public, you know. You're not going to like her like that. She's not likable, she's not lovable, but she is very unique, and she has like very strong values. And I don't know, I love the relationship she has with her father, who is also her trainer. So they have like this really deep bond together, you know. And yeah, it tells the story of her life and how she wants to get back at tennis, and how difficult it is for a woman her age to go back at tennis at that level, you know, because this is like professional tennis. We're not talking about like simple matches, you know, and how everyone is telling her not to do it because it's so risky and you shouldn't go back and everyone's going to beat you. And she's like, I'm just gonna go back to court because I am the best player in the world. And it just makes you root for her. The whole book, you are like, yes, like I want her to win everything. I just love this book. Like I couldn't stop reading. It was amazing. 5 out of 5. Then we have Los Claustros. I don't even know the name in English, but I will look it up. This is actually like the first book in Spanish that I've read in a while, and I didn't like it. I'm sorry, I wanted to like it, but it was like the story for me, I couldn't see the point. I didn't know where it was going. I couldn't connect with the main character. Was insufferable, honestly. Like I didn't like her either. So yeah, it's set in New York, which I love. Like I've just been in New York. I love the city. I love books set in New York. Like it had me there, you know. But then like this girl just comes from her little village and she goes to work as an internship, with an internship in this little museum called Los Claustros. I don't know the name in English, I'll put it here. Which is a little museum that exists in real life in New York, and she's there, and there are like some dark secrets that her boss / manager has, and she's going to discover, and everything's related to like these tarot cards. I'm not going to say much because you have to discover it through the book, but I didn't quite get it, honestly, and I don't even know why, because obviously this is written in Spanish. I read like the Spanish translation and I still couldn't get it, so it was not a language barrier or anything. I was just like lost in the story. I didn't see the point of anything. I really like the vibes that it had, because it is like dark academia vibes. So if you like that aesthetic, you're going to like the atmosphere, but the story for me was not up to the dark academic aesthetic. So for me, it's not worth it. It has a 2 out of 5 stars for me. Now we have Regretting You by, again, Colleen Hoover, our beloved author, or not. This story made me feel emotional, actually. Like I was not expecting much, but I liked it. This talks a lot about the relationship between a mother and a daughter after her father dies, and her husband, obviously. The thing is, the accident where the father dies is very complicated, and a lot of secrets are going to come out, let's just say that. And so it's going to bring a lot of friction between the mother and the daughter. They cannot seem to be there for each other, and the situation is already difficult enough with the death of a loved one, so it is a lot of drama. And also the mother is going to look for support in someone she wouldn't expect to, and the daughter also is going to meet someone new. So yeah, it had a lot of drama and a lot of emotion. It was a bit boring sometimes, so I don't know why I found like most of these books a bit boring sometimes. I'm not like finding good books at the moment, so if you have any recommendations, please write them down below in the comments. But yeah, it was not a bad book again, and I liked towards the end, and I felt more connected with them. I just felt that their thought patterns were so repetitive for me. I was like, okay, just like, you know, like make peace now and just go with it. But at the end, I liked the ending. It was nice, it was cute, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5 once more. And finally, we have Stolen Focus. This was a really interesting book. This is non-fiction, and if you're interested in how there seems to be like this lack of attention in general in the world today, you should read this book, because it goes into depth about how, yeah, and why we are losing attention so much. Like us as adults and also children everywhere in the world seem to have difficulties to concentrate in school, and adults in their work. Yeah, there are many studies, and this author provides a lot of academic support, so you can even like search for all the references later, so he's not like just saying things, you know, in a book. And I loved the beginning. I was like, I couldn't stop reading, because he goes on to do this experiment about living in this region in, I don't know, in North America, very like with no phone, with no laptop, with no internet connection. So he is like doing like this digital detox, and he loves it, and I loved reading about it and how he did it and what he felt after it. And that was so interesting for me and so inspiring, obviously, because I was like, I just want to throw my phone out of the window sometimes because of how it makes me feel. And yeah, that was a really nice part of the book. That's like the first part, and then it goes to talk about some different topics that I was not that interested into, like ADHD, or I don't even know, like some topics that I was like, why is this in this book? Like, why are we talking about this now? Like, what does this bring into the table? I don't know. But yeah, overall it is a very well built book with, like I said, a lot of references. The author, this is not complicated. This is not a complicated book. This is not difficult. Just because if it is non-fiction doesn't mean that it is written in this scientific way at all. Like, it is direct. So if you are interested in the topic, I would suggest it to you, but be patient, because the chapters after the first or 2 chapters are not that interesting, or at least for me. You could also look for the index of this book and see if the rest of the topics are interesting enough for you to read it. If you like this kind of videos, or if you want me to post more in English, just say it in the comments. I loved doing this video. I love trying new things, so I'm excited to do it again. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.